Good morning, writers. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. And for today's lesson, we are getting into choosing a mood for our writing. So let's get started. Before we move on, just a quick reminder to complete the Hello Morning survey if you have not done it by now. And also, if you have not completed assignments 415 and 416, those are due for grades. Please try to get those done as soon as possible. If it is not completed by the end of this week, it is a 0 in the grade book. Yesterday, we created a world for our fantasy story. Today, we will continue building a story by creating a mood. What is the mood? The mood is the feeling the reader gets when reading the story. So let's learn a little bit more about what the mood is.
Mood is the feeling that you get from a work of literature or art. Another way to describe mood is atmosphere. When you walk into a place, it has an atmosphere that makes you feel a certain way. When you walk into a story, it too has an atmosphere that makes you feel a certain way. The mood of a story can be calm, annoyed, frantic, joyful, gloomy, romantic, hopeful, or tense. How might you describe the mood of this video right now? Sweet and playful, right? How about now? See how the music changes the mood? But authors can't use music in their writing. So what do they use? Word choice, imagery, and setting. Let's look at some examples. Listen to this sentence. The bloodthirsty lion stalked the savannah, hungrily eyeing the helpless creatures around him. Pay attention to the circled words. What mood do they create? Now listen to this sentence. The majestic lion roamed the savannah, proudly gazing at the creatures around him. How has the mood changed? Which words helped create this mood? Good writers pull readers into the world of a story by using vivid language that appeals to the five senses.
Right, so I'm going to pause the video right there. You're more than welcome to review the video some more, especially when you get into your writing and you start to introduce your setting, your world, and your mood. So that video explains you more about the language that you use when you are creating a mood in your story. So how in fact do writers create a mood? Well, writers go through a few steps when creating a mood for their story. We know that stories have powerful settings, and one way they do that is to create a mood. We think about the different types of moods we can use for our story. We think about the world we pick for our story, and then we ask, do we want to have a happy setting where things are going well for our characters? Do we want a funny setting where our characters have a funny problem? Do we want a serious setting where something intense is happening in the story? We pick the mood we want for our story, and then we add that into our writing. Writers, I am going to model this for you. I'm going to go to my live document. These are the notes from yesterday, but we're jumping into our mood. I'm going to bring this over so I can see our steps as we go through them. So we think about the different type of moods we can use for our story. Some moods that we can use for our story, and you can find these in Google Classroom. There's an anchor chart in Google Classroom that has different types of moods. And so some of them mentioned in the story were, let's see, different types of moods. happy, sad, adventurous, sad, adventurous. It can be mysterious, or let's say it can be funny. How about intense? Was another good one. Those are all different types of moods. Then we think about, looking at steps two, we think about the world we pick for our story. And then we ask, do we want our mood, do we want to have a happy mood where the setting or things are going well for our characters? Is it funny or is it intense? So what type of mood do you want for your story? For my story is about, excuse me, I chose a world where animals and objects are personified and they have human characteristics. So a teenage girl, Dakota, receives a message from Nairobi, a tiger, and the message was the name of a place she was supposed to go, or she's supposed to go if she wants to find her true life path. And it had a list of signs she should look for on the way. So she sets out on a quest, not really knowing which way to go, but she only knows to look for the signs that Nairobi gave her. So I asked myself, how do I want my readers to feel when they are reading my fantasy story? Well, if I'm going through any of these, let's see. It could be mysterious, right? Because in my story, it could be mysterious because she doesn't know what all she will see when she gets to the place where she's going or what the signs will instruct her to do. I could create a hopeful mood because she is being courageous and optimistic by setting out on her journey to follow the message that Nairobi gave her. It could also be adventurous, right? Because she's going to be going through all these different obstacles and challenges, and she has to travel to different dimensions to meet the messenger for more clues and for more signs, right? Or it could be something serious like the Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen. This it was always intense. It was always heightened and suspenseful because he wasn't sure what was going to happen next. So after I have gone through the thinking behind picking different moods, I can look back at my moods that I selected and I'm going to pick one. Pick one to use for fantasy writing. And for my story, I want my readers to feel adventurous. So you guys can see. I want my readers to feel adventurous because I choose this movie because I want my readers to always be anticipation of what the character would do next, what type of challenge she will have to overcome. So adventure creates anticipation and excitement, and so I want my readers to be a little bit on edge, but I also want it to be slightly entertaining and exciting too. So the mood for my fantasy writing will be adventurous. And so what you would do next is go into Google Classroom. You're going to try this on your own. Let's see. Let's come here first. Let's go to our steps. What are we doing today? You are going to complete your assignment in Google Forms, just as we did yesterday, the same way. And then transfer your notes to your writing story planning. So you're going to fill in the information for your mood. What did you select for your mood? Fill that in on your planning document that you started yesterday. Then you're going to post your mood choice to our fantasy writing board. You guys did really awesome posting your fantasy worlds. I really enjoy reading what your fantasy worlds are going to be like. And finally, there is a document in Google Classroom for you to begin writing out your fantasy story. You should focus on introducing your setting, which talks about or gives details about your world and the mood you created for your writing. As always, if you have any questions, give me a call, text, email, GChat. My information is there. You can enter for chances to win incentives if you are asking for help completing all of your work and or completing quality work. So you guys can go ahead and jump to it. Get at me if you have any questions. Have a great day, writers.